Welcome to I Am Maria podcast, a space where we explore the impact stories that inspire us to be who we are today, showing how our personal decisions and tools shape our lives. Today we have Rowena, and she brings us a story of incredible resilience, determination, and love. Her journey is one of the overcoming cultural, social, and personal challenges from navigating the complexities of living in Saudi Arabia as a woman to balancing family obligations and breaking stereotypes in male dominated world. Her journey is not only about surviving adversity, but thriving through it. And today, she's here to share the story, the lessons she have learned, and the tools that she have. Let's dive into Rowena's inspiring story and uncover how she turned obstacles into opportunities. Rowena, thank you so much for being here, for supporting, for believing in this dream, and also for telling us your story. So my first question today to you, Rowena, is who is Rowena? Who you are?
Thank you, Maria. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rowena Villa Carlos Nilacantan. I work with Papa John's as a senior manager for strategic market planning. I am new to the US, new in a sense that it's nearly 5 years. We're in the US. I'm originally from the Philippines, but at an early age, I have to work in Saudi Arabia, which is a really great experience for me, from Saudi Arabia and then Dubai in the Middle East and then move to the US. So I'll tell you more about it at a later stage.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you, Rowena. So my next question, which will probably drive into three different topics, is about important decisions that have led you into your today life, into the person that you are today. So if you could list three important decisions that have shaped your life, which ones will those be?
If I look back, probably the first difficult decision for me is at a younger age to decide to work in Saudi Arabia at such time when it's very rare you'll find women working in Saudi Arabia because it's a male dominating country. That's probably one of the top decision I have made, but I think I made the right decision because I was able to support my family while doing that, and I managed to meet my husband and started a family there. The second is moving from Saudi to Dubai was a big ask, is because again you're navigating to uncharted territory, right? And moving to Dubai is looking for a job at a stage that you're not sure is there a right opportunity for me at that time. And it's not only me, I have my husband and my daughter as well. The third and the biggest among the three is actually deciding to leave everything behind when we lived in Dubai for 21 years. Imagine, that's like a second home for us. Leaving everything behind and move to the US. That's actually a big ask. Imagine selling everything that you have, closing all your credit card, all your bank account, and start a new life. But that's probably one of the best decisions we've made.
I can imagine. And we are going to, explore into those decisions because definitely are big and made an impact in your life, right? And I'm so happy to hear that it was decisions that have bring you opportunities as well. Um, but you have lived through those, you have adapted to so many unique cultural challenges,
Yeah.
and even this last one that you just say, moving from the Middle East to US.
Mm.
So my question is, how do you define yourself after leaving throughout so many challenges and
Mhm.
different cultures.
You know, I believe those challenges and experiences as I move around, from Middle East to the US, it actually made me a strong and better person. I always believe that everything happened for a reason, right? But as I look back, I believe I'm proud of those decisions that I made or that we made, and there's no regrets whatsoever. And one thing is, I think through those years, it's important that you really believe in yourself. You really have to prove yourself that you're strong, that nothing is really impossible in life as long as you have the will to make it happen. And that really helped me navigate through those challenges and through those changes.
That's a really good way of seeing life. And I know you for 3 years now,
Yeah.
which I was like, oh my God, surprised. It's been 3 years since we joined
Yeah.
this great company. Um, and I remember that you have introduced yourself many times into, um, living a life against the word. You and your husband, it's against the words, against the word.
Mm.
And I guess there are some personal qualities that have helped you succeed
Mm.
in different environments. And I'm intrigued into how you took that strength, that resilience. So, what are those qualities that have helped you personally, but as well, as a family, as a couple?
It was not an easy, I could say, or like me and my husband, it was a difficult early stage. The reason I'm saying difficult is, imagine I'm a Filipino Catholic, and typical Filipino will love to eat meat. And I happen to marry someone who is from another country. He's Indian, different religion, and different food habit as well. He's vegetarian, 100% vegetarian. So you can imagine the conflict with regards to food, right? But we managed to navigate through the years. I learned to cook his food, and I learned to adjust. Not only me, him as well. Although up to this time he doesn't eat meat. So tendencies I eat vegetarian. I became vegetarian more than a meat eater. But I think one thing that the quality probably is, have to really believe that nothing is impossible. Like for example, at the beginning, everybody's against us. Even like, oh, it will not work. Like all our colleagues. No, 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 no. I don't think even a year will last. That you. I'm sure you say that. Oh no, you fed up. No, but we've been married now for 30 years. So you can imagine how strong and how you really there is a dynamics between the two of us, and of course with the children we have. So always, as I mentioned earlier, you have to really believe in yourself and embrace that really nothing is impossible. You know, if I say the reason why we moved to the US from the Dubai is, if I actually look at it, I'm having a Philippine passport. My children, my daughter was born in Saudi, my son was born in Dubai, UAE, and my husband was born in India. Imagine we born in different countries and we don't have a common passport, right? So my kids are having a Philippine passport and my husband is having Indian passport. In case of any emergency, we cannot go to one country because Middle East is not forever. It's a temporary location for us. We cannot be a permanent resident there, right? So we need to find a place where we could move and where we could have one common passport. And this is where this decision pushed us that we need a country. And at that time, we're lucky because US was available and it became easier for us to move to the US, right? So one thing it is that you really need to believe that nothing is impossible.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems, that family has been a driving force in
Yeah.
in your journey. And definitely, as you're mentioning, you're gonna have to look for opportunities, make a hard decision. And I want to ask you if moving to the US was kind of that hard decision that you have to make to support your family and your children as a mother, or
Yeah.
is there any other hard decision or yeah, that you have to make in order, sacrifice that you have to make as a mother?
Yeah, yeah. The first sacrifice for me was at the beginning when I worked in Saudi Arabia, because the main reason for me to work in Saudi Arabia at that time was because of my family, my mother and my sister. Because being the eldest, I need to somehow tell my mother that I'm ready to support you. I'm ready to support my sister, my younger sister at that time. So my decision to work in Saudi Arabia was because I want to provide for them. I want to build a house for them. So when that happened, I was so happy, is because finally my mother can relax, right? That was one of the toughest decision. And the second toughest decision is when we decided to move to the US, is because imagine I was working comfortably for 21 years with the same company, with Yum Brands, and my husband was working with Dubai Police for almost same number of years. Imagine you're already comfortable with your life in Dubai, you settled, kids are enjoying the schooling, and my daughter and my son was settled there. And my son was questioning why we have to move to US.
Mm,
It's a tough decision because at that time they seem to not align why we're doing this, why we have to resign and move to the US. And imagine moving to the US and you're not sure, are you going to get a job?
mm.
I was lucky because it opened up an opportunity for me with Yum globally for a position with the same role that I was doing. That was just by luck. I mean, it was not there when we left, when we decided to leave Dubai at that time. It's just after a month I got a chat. Oh, are you available? We have an opportunity for you. Imagine
Wow.
if there was no position for me looking for a job. And one thing that I realize is, if you're coming from outside of the country and looking for a job in the US, it's difficult to find a job because they want you to have local experience in the US. But how will you get an
Mm,
experience when you're coming from outside?
mm.
So in that case, Yam has given me opportunity. So it took time for my husband to find a job. So that was a reality. They want US experience, but how will you get it if nobody's offering you the chance, right? So it was tough at the beginning. Imagine when we moved to the US, I was based in Texas, while my family, my husband, my daughter, and my son was in California. They were in Los Angeles. So we're separated because I was still trying to see whether this will work, and then whether they could get an opportunity in California. And luckily my sister-in-law was there, so they were helping with my family there. But I was alone. I was alone in Texas. I was in Dallas. So that was it's tough at the beginning. Imagine I'm alone, separated from my family, although we are all in the US, but for nearly 2 years that we're separated. Can you
Oh,
imagine?
wow.
And that was tough, and it affected more my son, because my daughter, she's already grown up, and my son, but crying at night, where is my mother, and all these things. But I think now he understood. We did this for them.
Wow. How difficult, but how it's beautiful to hear how, how you tell and tell us how you navigated these challenges with
Yeah,
your family, with the cultures. And I'm sure there were some type of strategies, tools that help you adapt to come to the US, but also to live in the Middle East after coming from the Philippines.
yeah.
So, what can you tell us about those?
There's really no tool, but one thing I can say is, don't limit yourself always believe in yourself, and keeps on learning.
Mm.
Study. Now, because can you imagine? I'm actually an industrial psychology graduate, but look at the work that I'm doing. And I always wanted to complete my masteral. Can you imagine when did I completed my masteral? 1 year after I deliver my son, I did my masteral in Dubai. And I didn't stop working. I was still working and studying at night. So don't limit yourself. Keep on learning new things. It doesn't need to be a masteral, it doesn't need to be going to school, but find something that will enhance or give you new learnings, because only when you learn new things you'll get excited. It brings up
Mm.
more ideas to your mind, and it will you keeps on looking for opportunities, so never limit yourself.
Love it. Love it. That's a great way to put things out there and to say, opportunity. You create your own opportunities. And I know you have been the only woman in meeting rooms here in the US, but I can't imagine, and I would love to hear if you were also the only woman in meeting rooms while living in the Middle East, because for that is like breaking barriers of being the only woman in the room in such cultures. How does that feel, and how do you handle those situations?
Yeah, it actually feels strange and weird at that time. Imagine working in the Middle East and you're the only female in the meeting room, and people actually are not used to having a female lady, a female or a lady in any meeting room. They don't look at you eye to eye.
Mm,
They don't even value that you're there, but you have to get used to it. And I remember there was one moment or one time that I was trying to get an appointment with this CFO. And I said, because I want to introduce myself and get to know them. And every time I'm booking an appointment, the secretary will say that, sorry, he's in a meeting, he's not available. And then, okay, okay. I mean, it's like every day he's not available. I mean, when is he available? And then his secretary finally told me, the reason is he doesn't want to talk to any lady, any female. He refused to talk to me. And I came to know that it's not only him, but most of these, it's a male dominating time. I mean, at that time, so they don't like to even talk to women. But then those times change now. And imagine when I was in Saudi Arabia, ladies are not allowed to drive. Ladies are not allowed to go out alone. You cannot go out alone. You need to go out. Someone has to sponsor you. A family should sponsor you so that you can go out. Imagine at that time. But then, as I look back, those are great experiences. Those are something that you feel proud that you experience it, because now they allow ladies to drive, and that just started in 2019 when they allow ladies to drive in Saudi Arabia. So you can imagine, just in a number of few years.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good to experience it and to say that, wow, things have changed.
Things have changed, things are changing, and culturally they're different.
Yeah.
So was there a shock in you and in your family when you came to the US, in
Yeah.
terms of like driving, even the way you dress, the way you talk? Did your children know the language as well? Knew the language at the time?
Yeah. No. Actually, the when the limit on the female driving is in Saudi Arabia. So we got lucky because when we moved to Dubai, that's when the kids are growing up. Like they didn't feel the Saudi. It's because my son was born in Dubai. It's only my daughter, but then she was only 6 months old at that time. So They grew up in Dubai. One thing good in Dubai is it's like you're in the US as well. It's free. You can go anywhere you like. So it's a big difference. So moving to the US from Dubai is not a big ask in terms of changes, but more so on starting again. Like going back to step one. You have to settle yourself, you have to navigate, find a new job,
Mm.
make sure that you settle. So that's only I could say the difference. Yeah.
Nice, very nice. And usually when you speak to people, you'll find out, or if you ask, looking back,
Mhm.
would you change anything? Um, and I've heard a few times that you wouldn't change anything. So why you don't speak a little bit more about this?
One thing is, with all these challenges that happen, the different culture, different environment, I think those made me a strong person. And it gives you more leverage to understand people, right? Because you've experienced dealing with different people, different culture, different nationalities. It made you more understanding where they're coming from, right? So I mean, I think that those the journey as it happened, it just makes you a better person, right? So I will really, I mean, at the end of it, I didn't regret or didn't even say that I made a wrong decision, like to move from Saudi to Dubai or UAE to the US. I think those everything happened for a reason.
And you know that right now in the world we're living, there's a lot of immigrants,
Yeah.
and that's everywhere, people going to one country to the other, and I think has been this way for years.
Mhm.
Maybe, I mean, I came from Venezuela years ago, and you from Philippines to Middle East, from Dubai to US, and that's a lot of changes, and to make that type of decisions, you need to be motivated by something, and also an advice from someone that have changed through cultures, through the year, through decades. Um, what advice would you give to somebody that is debating whether to stay, to immigrate?
Yeah. I think one important advice that I could say is always believe in yourself. Don't limit yourself to, like, for example, regardless of where you are right now in your life, don't limit it because you might be down right now, but you never know next day. You just have to believe in yourself that nothing is impossible. You know, you might be right in a really worse situation right now, but wait, tomorrow may be a better day, right? So I always believe that everything is really happening for a reason. You just have to make sure that you're strong and believe that no matter what happened, I believe in myself, I believe in my capability, and you have your family to support you all the way.
That's true. That's beautiful. Is that how you motivate yourself every day?
That's true. I always believe, you have to believe in yourself because nobody else will believe you except you.
I love that. Do you have a toolbox, Rowena, that you use every day, that you have built along the way, and that you can share with us?
I don't have a toolbox per se, but just don't limit yourself. Just keep it in your mind that you need to grow, and you can only grow by learning. Yeah. So just one thing important that I mean I will keep on repeating myself is you have to believe in yourself. Don't limit yourself. Don't put yourself in a box. You need to let it go. You need to open the box and see what there's a future behind that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel so inspired, so motivated by your story, but and you have shared a lot into what how you motivate, what you say to
Mhm.
yourself, and what you are telling now the audience that is listening to this episode. Um, but if I ask you in one question, what would you like the people listening to this episode to take away from your story?
Always believe in yourself. It's one liner that it says you really need to believe in yourself. That's the key. You know, if you don't believe in yourself, then nothing good thing will happen to you. So it should come from you. It should come from within you to make it happen.
So beautiful. Rowena, I think it's been, I've learned a lot within this few minutes of our episodes, and I am sure there are going to be a lot of questions from your story. And I hope that, people that are watching, that are listening, take a lot from this, and keep inspiring, one, two, and the other. So I've been telling the story of who Maria is. And today we heard about Rowena's. And I am sure we're going to have Rowena's again here because every day, every year, it's a new chapter on her life. Rowena, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support since day one. Um, and I am sure everybody listening to this will be inspired, and will like to know more from you.
Thank you, Maria, for inviting me here.